a very special guest on the phone with us. Mr. Gene, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Gene Odom is on the phone now. Gene, of course, lifelong friends with Ronnie Van Zant. Sir, it is a real honor and a pleasure to speak with you this afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, but I also realize that you tell everybody that same thing.
No. No, not every man. It's a rare occasion that I actually get to talk to a living legend such as yourself, and I know quite a bit about your backstory. Now, you're ex-military, which hit the chord here with all the retired military that we have in the area, which is probably one of the reasons the guys wanted you to come along to do security and maybe help keep them a little on the straighter side, huh?
Yeah, Ronnie knew that they were probably going to go places, and he wanted to get off the booze and the drugs and stuff, and he knew nobody else could do it but me, because I've never drank, never smoked drugs, never smoked cigarettes, never tasted alcohol, beer, nothing, and I'm 75. And he said, you'll be the only person in the world out that can do this and take care of us and get us off this stuff, because I know you'll never mess with nothing. And so I was doing a pretty good job till that damn plane crashed.
Yeah, that was, well, I tell you what, man, it's a feather in your cap to say you hung around with the Van Zants and never touched anything.
Well, yeah, that, and Ronnie also got me to be Mick Jagger's bodyguard for the Stones for the Tour of the Americas in 1975. And we was at a New Year's Eve party, and I'll never forget the name of the champagne was Dom Perignon, and they were partying, drinking, and Mick came over with a bottle of Dom Perignon and said, Odom, ever drink? I said, no, Mick, I don't drink. He said, man, it's New Year's. I said, Mick, I don't drink. Mick, I said, Mick, I've never tasted alcohol. And Mick went, well, you're a freak. I said, I guess so. You know.
Look, I guess when Mick Jagger's calling you a freak, that's saying something.
That's saying something, yeah. He couldn't believe.
You've got a few. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He couldn't believe that I've never touched alcohol or drugs. We talked about it. He said it's fantastic that you could do that. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was going to say you've written a couple of books about Leonard Skinner, and you're going to be finding some of these at the show, right?
Yes, sir. I brought a couple boxes with me. Yep.
And if people are unfamiliar with you, you have quite a presence online now, and they can go check out your videos, check out your books, check out some of the swag that you're going to be having. But people will actually be able to come up and talk to you at the concert.
Yes, I'll be signing books and shaking hands, and people can introduce themselves to me, and I'll say hey to anybody who walks up to me, shake their hand. If they want a book or a T-shirt, I'll be more than happy to oblige them.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but years ago, I was working at another radio station, a rock radio station, and I want to say it was probably around 90, 91 when Leonard Skinner came back out, and we did a thing where if you had one of the original tickets from the concert that had to be canceled after the wreck, you got into the show for free. And Gary was trying to get some of these tickets from some of our listeners that had those original concert tickets, which brings me to the point that if you were working with them, what did you think after the wreck? I mean, after the crash, and you kind of knew what was happening, and it sank in. What did you tell yourself you were going to do?
Well, it took me approximately 3 years to heal up with the surgeries and everything after that. And I had to do something because I don't have an education. I got an 8th grade education, and the hardest 3 years of my life was the 3rd grade. So I knew I had to make a living. So I went back to ironworking, and I worked until 1990, and I fell doing an audition on the brewery in Jacksonville, Florida, and got broke all up, and workers' compensation said you can't work anymore. So I've been on Social Security since that fall, since 1990.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Odom, it is a real honor and a real pleasure. How long are you going to be there? What time are you going to get there? What time can people start getting their movies, their books, their T-shirts? And I guess maybe if they have old Leonard Skinner records, the 38 special records, you'd be glad to sign those as well, huh?
Certainly, yeah. 5:30. The promoter says 5:30. I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there a little before then, but 5:30 we'll be selling merchandise, and I'll meet. If people want to come up and meet and greet, I can talk with them, and
Be there all night.
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there all night. With all the bands after the show's over. I'll be meeting people and signing autographs and stuff if they want that. I mean, I'm not going to go out on the street and drag them in, if they don't want.
Yeah.
Too damn old for all that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you before I let you get out of here, man. What is your fondest memory of Ronnie, either when you guys were young growing up or after they had got a little success or maybe any point in between? But what is your fondest memory of him?
I can tell you, he always wanted an old truck and a trophy black bass. Right before May of '77, he went to look at a little piece of property in Tennessee, saw an 55 Chevrolet truck and bought it and had it shipped to his house. So he got his old truck. And so he called me one day. He said, "Hey man, let's go fishing." So all right, we went to Lake Delancey, little lake out in the Ocala National Forest, and my 69 pickup truck. And so we got there, and right when we pulled up there, it started to rain. It started raining, not really severely hard, but raining, a good rain. And we waited a few minutes, and he went, "Gene, let's go home, man. We're 75 miles from the house." He says, "Man, let's go home. I got something I can do. I got some stuff I can do." I said, "Nah, man, wait, man." I said, "It's gonna stop. It's just Florida, Come on, man. Come on, Gene." He said, "Let's go home." I said, look, hood of the car, hood of the truck." I said, "Look, it's stopping, man. Look at there. Come on, let's get out of here and go fishing." Got him out of there, got a little boat down, and we went down to the left where we started at. And I give him the front of the boat, and I took the back of the boat. And I fished with Jim Bagley's old monster worm, a black worm, and he would use a purple one. And he threw that purple worm over on one of them old pieces of grass, and that worm hit the water. When it did, it was just whoom. I said, "Set the hook, man. There's your trophy bass." He set the hook and fought. And I said, "Keep him out of the grass. Keep him out of the grass, man." We didn't have a dip net. Our dip net was rotten, so we had to throw it away. And he went, "My God, we ain't got no dip net. We got no dip net." And that old fish came up and rolled over, and he was just screaming, "Look at there." Anyway, so I said, "Just keep a tight line. Get him to the boat here, Got to the boat, and I grabbed that big old bass and rolled her over in the boat. And he started screaming, jumping around in the boat, just grabbing me, hugging me, going, "Man, this is my bass, screaming. I said, "Stop, you're going to swamp the boat, man, and I can't swim," And he started laughing. He said, "Gene, this is it. This is my trophy bass, man. Let's go weigh it right now." We just crossed the lake, and the only one fish cabin on that place. What am I trying to say? Bait tank, little place there.
Yeah.
Old guy owned it named John, and he had a underwater tank that would hold the bass. So we weighed it, 12 pound 8 ounces, and put it in that container. And we went back fishing some more, and we come home, and he said, "All right, man, look here, I'm taking this thing tomorrow to get this thing taxidermied." He said, "This is fantastic." You know what? He said, "I got my truck and I got my old bass, man." He says, and he grabbed me and hugged me. He said, "Man, I'm telling you, Gene Odom," he said, "this is one of the best days of my life." I said, "I could tell it in your face, son." I said, I'm glad to be a part of it. He said, "If it wasn't for you, it would never happen." And that was, let me see, June, July, 5 months later, he's dead and gone. But that was the greatest day.
Yeah.
That was the greatest day of his life right there. I was part of it.
Well, thank you for sharing that story with us. That is a great story. All right, one more thing before we go, because we're going to get out of here with a little Sweet Home Alabama. So I've always wanted to ask someone that was close to the band and close to the guys, when they brought you this song and you heard it, did you realize what kind of anthem it would become?
Well, no, not what it would become, but what a good song it was, because I'm old, and Ronnie Van Zant was too, old Hank and Lefty. I'm old Skinnerd. And Ronnie went, and man, he said, "We like this song." And Ed King came up with the, Ed King came up with that. And then they were rehearsing that, and Ronnie walked out of the Pale House on the dock and wrote the words to Sweet Home Alabama. And when he came back in the house, he had the words for Sweet Home Alabama back into the Hell House. But no, and I heard just recently that thing rolled over 1 billion downloads.
Yeah.
God, man, and what?
It's crazy to think. That's a lot of shoes.
Man, I tell you, it's a lot of shoes. That's a lot of stuff, and that's a lot of stuff that he never got to be a part of, you know. And other people, other people reap the benefits from that. You know what I mean? And that kind of sticks in my crow. You know what I mean? But I don't say much about it.
Yeah. Well, Miss Odom, is there anything that we missed? Anything you'd like to tell the people before you see them tomorrow night?
Yeah, tell everybody they know to come on out to that show. Let's have a good time. Hear some good music.
Absolutely. Mr. Odom, it's been an honor and a pleasure. And, sir, we will see you there tomorrow night.
It's the deal.
All right. That is.
There you go.